Breaking news, breaking news. A mass number of people online are renouncing the they them ideology and claiming the I don't give a damn ideology, partially due to the rising cost of eggs. My friend in LA told me a carton of eggs in some places costs 15 blood clot dollars. Bring back theft. Mind you, all of this is natural. I'm not one to judge. I'm not judging. Nobody can stay the same forever. It's not natural. And we grow, we learn, and we change our mind. The internet said, not me, the internet, that the female version of the incel to alt-right pipeline is being led by the one and only troublemaker Candace Owens. Now, if you're black, you were probably born with a natural instinct to hate her. Good thing for me, though, I wasn't born with that instinct. I'm neither here nor there about her. I think she's a bully sometimes, a lot of the time, but that's not what we're talking about. I do think she has some wild things to say and some unnecessarily offensive stuff to say, but also sometimes she's right. Nobody can be wrong all the time. A broken clock is right twice a day. One thing that does and has, sorry, excuse me, one thing that has surprised me about Miss Candace is she's so opinionated, but she hasn't had anything to say about how Donald Trump has been acting, like how they made a TikTok ASMR or whatever it was, mocking people who got kicked out of the country, mocking illegal immigrants for getting kicked out of the country. She hasn't really had much to say about that, which is weird because given I do watch her shows sometimes. I'm not slurring because I'm nervous. I'm just saying I will admit that I watch her show sometimes, and she can be fair. So I'm surprised she hasn't said anything about that. And I wonder if it's because her white husband has silenced her. And you know, her husband is her producer. Her husband was like, "Oh, you can't really talk about. You know, it'll seem like you're not on his side." I don't know if her husband has silenced her, which is I don't know. It's kind of unsettling because it reminds me of a certain time of life, of history. I really, 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 really hate to talk about politics these days, but it's in my face every day for whatever reason, which is crazy because I follow news outlets like Forbes to figure out how I can buy my way onto the Forbes list too. Not to have heart palpitations every day. It's stressful, but maybe that's why I have sympathy for people who voted for Donald Trump because they too believe that one day they could have millions and millions of dollars. And I feel like that's why nobody tends to listen to liberals. I feel like sometimes people associate liberal with being and remaining poor in people's minds. I believe that rich white people do a great job at selling themselves to people they would quite literally die before they become like them. They would raid every country, every continent on this earth before they become like some of the people who vote for them. And I don't know. But these white people would also be on the back of the bus if that was still a thing. But they don't care because in these Republican speeches, they cater to them. So how you know is when Republicans say things like God, nation, you know, family, that is code for kill all gay people. And that is the sound of freedom to many people's ears. And that just signals to them that, hey, look, this guy's on my side. So Donald Trump has probably inspired a lot of people to be multifaceted because he's multifaceted. He's an entertainer, obviously, a businessman, and a president, which is all very United States of America. And that's what I feel like all the above is about. It's really about being more than one thing and being great in all of those things and not, you know, limiting yourself and excelling your life to the fullest. But I do recommend to not do it in a supervillain way and try not to do it in an autistic way either, like Elon Musk. I don't feel like as regular people, I don't feel like we utilize free will like all these other people utilize free will. Will Smith endorses all the above's message very literally, like to the T. He endorses this message because he's always posting videos of himself rapping. Mind you, he's already successful. Speaking of black people, Alabama Barker. And honestly, you guys, Alabama Barker is like 12 years old, so I'm not about to sit up here and talk about her. You know, I feel like that's tacky. But she is one category away from doing the whole Black Yana thing that Ariana Grande was doing. She's smart because she knows not to talk in a black accent when she's, you know, speaking in her regular voice, but in her raps, she's pushing it. She is pushing it. Um, Alabama Barker is fighting with Bad Baby, and I just learned how to say her name correctly. And I hate that I know that. But I fear Bad Baby is eating her up, is what the internet says. And I don't know, I really don't care, but I will say that I feel like this is probably a face for Little Miss Alabama, Sweet Home Alabama. I think all white people go through this, especially when they're on social media, you know, because they're dating black guys and they go through this phase of wearing wigs and wanting to adopt a baddie aesthetic. And let's be honest, the baddie aesthetic was created by black women. And I'll give credit to Latinas as well because nobody does a good BBL like the Colombians, baby. Like if you've ever been to Colombia or seen, nobody does a BBL like the Colombians. The Latino makeup, the black body eats every time. And I love that for them. And I love that for Alabama. I love that she's rapping. And I love that she's clapping back and defending herself because she is a Nepo baby. And she's Travis Barker's, the drummer, Blink 186, I believe. She is Travis Barker's daughter. And I feel like she has the potential to be like the coldest new generation Avril Lavigne. But instead, she's choosing this gutter bunny type of vibe, which is awesome because I support trying new things. Uh, but she's rich, so she can take her time to find herself. Moving to the other side of the continent, we're gonna go to Nigeria, and by Nigeria I mean Atlanta because it's basically the same difference. Not as much as Houston, but still. There is a content creator who goes by the name of Nico's Living. If you don't know her, I believe her real name is Nico Adeleke. That was so bad. Nico Adeleke. I don't know, Nico Adeleke. And she just came out with a new music video. So Nico, she's been around and she's blown up recently because she's posting more content, being more consistent. And another fun fact about her is that she is Davido's cousin. So you know how that goes. If you're not familiar with the Afrobeats and African music, I don't know, pop culture or whatever, Davido is a big deal. And that's her cousin, and she just put out a new song, which is new for her because I didn't like, she's not really known for music. She's just known for lifestyle and luxury. And I love that for her. I love that for her because she's doing what she does because she can. And I don't have anything funny to say about this because she just seems like such a nice person and she's shaped like the aunties that I used to want to hug. Like she just reminds me of the Nigerian aunties at church because she's so warm and so nice and she's so smiley. So I love that Nico's Living is expanding and adopting the culture of all the above unintentionally. I still love that for her. Good for you, Nico's Living, expanding and just deciding that you want to rap at such a not big age, but you know what I mean. I feel like if you're 29 and decide you want to be a rapper, people make fun of you. But I've noticed successful people like who actually achieve their goals are not afraid to explore every single thing that they've thought of, like all these adventures. And for example, I brought up Will Smith. I'm gonna pull up a TikTok of Will Smith, and I'm gonna read his lyrics because I don't want to get demonetized. Because yeah, I'm just gonna pull up this TikTok, and y'all tell me how y'all feel about it in the comments. He says, I want them first love, just like that first time. I want them first eyes. I want them first, I want that first passion. I want them first hugs. I want them hard cries. I want that first love. Okay, Willard, Mr. Smith, sir. And he's looking so deeply into the camera. Mr. Smith. I know he gets a lot of hate from people. Like people call him names because he stayed with a woman that cheated on him and rah rah rah. But I truly appreciate the fact that he is so willing to do whatever he has to do in his life to feel like he's living it to the fullest. Like we should all be like Mr. Smith and not really care if people, mess with what we're doing or not. I don't know. There's more to it than that, but I just wanted to give him his kudos. My whole point is that you can be old like Will Smith, 50 something, young, or mid 20, however old Nico's Living is, 28, 29, whatever, or young like Alabama Barker, and you could still be finding yourself. So if you're tired of scrolling on TikTok, getting into internet beef because of all these parasocial relationships you have, talking about people having opinions instead of working on what you said that you were going to be working on, because you're living vicariously through influencers who will only talk about you, who will only talk to you so they can sell you something and make money off of you, I have the solution for you if you just doom scroll all day and don't talk to people in real life because it makes you exhausted. I'm talking about myself. And so that you can numb your mind and scroll because it gives you a spark of dopamine and it's better than doing drugs. Like I said, I have something for you. The whole point of today's episode is to teach you or give you suggestions on how you can find yourself and your hobbies and your aesthetic and your taste and become an individual again. Because we all know the BBL and Fashion Nova apocalypse had everybody in a chokehold, celebrities and non-celebrities alike. It is so important to just know who you are. It's so important to just know who you are. And Will Smith and Nico's Living are examples of free will and money and doing whatever they want. But it's not just the money. It's about reinventing yourself and being okay with changing, whether it's cringe or evil, like some people like Donald Trump, or soft, like Nico's Living. And I know that you want to do the same thing because you clicked on this video. So step one to having free will is understanding that your identity does not have to be your work, and it does not have to be at work. Instead of your identity being comprised of all the things you do, words. Instead of your identity being comprised of what you do for work and rah, 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 it could be comprised of all the things you love to do. For example, when was the last time you did something silly? When was the last time you made yourself laugh? When was the last time you made a home video with your cousins? When was the last time you farted in public and ran away? That's dumb. That's dumb. When was the last time you talked in regular speech instead of corporate speech? When was the last time you said the first thing that was on your mind? Just being a little bit silly and goofy. It's important to know that, it's important to know what we are actually like, given that everything is manufactured to tell us what to like and what to believe and how to believe. Like, for example, babes, I listen to Miles Davis. He's a jazz artist. And I didn't know who Miles Davis was before until I picked up a book. And I was like, dang. I was reading it. I was like, dang, this guy's a terrible guy. And he looks like Flavor Flav. He used to beat women and treat them horribly. He was addicted to many drugs. However, I bought his record and I discovered that I actually liked it. My point is, you should do something different. Run on your walks, on your hot girl walks, instead of walking. Date somebody who you might find a little bit unattractive at first. Wear cornrows even though you are white. Shave your head and then get a tattoo, like Amber Rose, and then remove it because you still have a corporate job. Life is about experiences, and you can never really, experience anything if you don't experience anything. You understand? Wow, this was rough. This was a rough video. So this is the part of the show where I put you guys on to some really talented musicians. There's so many people online who are so good. So I would like to give you guys some recommendations. Please check these artists out if you're tired of listening to the same thing over and over again. Thank you.